Imagine beating the house not once, not twice, but multiple times and raking in over 15 million in the process. This is the story of Don Johnson, a man who stared into the eyes of fortune and made it blink first, a man who danced with Lady Luck and led her every step of the way right into the heart of Atlantic City. Don Johnson is no mere gambler. He's the embodiment of a professional blackjack hustler, a wily fox in the henhouse of the casino world. His success is the stuff of legend, his exploits, the grist of many a gambler's tale. But what sets Johnson apart from the sea of hopefuls and high rollers is not just his winnings. It's the fact that he achieved them without resorting to card counting, that infamous practice that has seen many a player banned from the casino floors. You see, while many blackjack players rely on the mathematical edge that card counting provides, Johnson didn't. He didn't need to. His was a game of strategy, of negotiation, of understanding the odds and knowing how to exploit them. His game was one of intelligence and cunning, a chess match played on the green felt of the blackjack table. And boy, did he play it well. Over a 6-month period in 2011, he took Atlantic City for all it was worth, walking away with over $15 million. Just let that sink in. $15 million. Won not by cheating the system, but by playing it better than anyone else. So, as we delve into the life and times of Don Johnson, we're not just exploring the story of a man who beat the casinos, we're uncovering the tale of a man who did so on his own terms, who didn't just play the game, he mastered it. But who really is Don Johnson, and how did he manage to beat the casinos at their own game? Born in 1962, Don Johnson grew up far from the glitz and glamour of Atlantic City. This future blackjack hustler and corporate executive came from humble beginnings. Raised in a small town in Pennsylvania, Johnson was a world away from the bright lights and high stakes of the casinos that would later become his stomping grounds. Growing up, Johnson was always a numbers guy. He had a knack for figures and a love for problem solving that set him apart from his peers. This love for numbers extended to his schoolwork, where he excelled in mathematics. It was clear from an early age that Johnson had a mind that was built for calculations, a trait that would serve him well in the future. In his teenage years, Johnson's interest in gambling began to take shape. He was drawn to games of chance, intrigued by the element of risk and the potential for reward. He spent hours studying the odds, always looking for a way to turn the tables in his favor. His fascination with probability and statistics was not just academic, it was a passion that would lay the foundation for his future endeavors. After high school, Johnson attended a local community college where he continued to nurture his love for numbers. He pursued studies in business and statistics, further honing his analytical skills, but it was during his time in college that he truly fell in love with blackjack. The game's blend of strategy and chance was a perfect fit for Johnson's mathematical mind. Johnson's early years were not filled with high-stakes wins or dramatic losses. Instead, they were a time of learning and growth. He was laying the groundwork, honing the skills that would later allow him to take on the casinos of Atlantic City and come out on top. Johnson's story is a testament to the power of perseverance and the importance of preparation. But it wasn't until he moved to Philadelphia that his life would take a dramatic turn. As we delve deeper into Johnson's journey, we'll see how this move marked the beginning of his rise to blackjack fame. But that, dear listeners, is a story for another scene. In Philadelphia, Don Johnson began his journey into the world of casinos, but not as a player. Instead, he was on the other side of the table. Picture this: young Don Johnson, fresh-faced and eager, stepping into the world of casinos not as a player, but as a part of the operations. As he navigated his early career, he was learning the ropes, absorbing the ins and outs of the industry. He wasn't just serving drinks or dealing cards, he was observing, understanding, and storing away this knowledge for later use. In those early years, Johnson wasn't just a passive participant. He was a sponge, soaking up the nuances of the game, the strategies of the players, and the operations of the casinos. He was gaining invaluable insight into how casinos worked from the inside out. He learned about house rules, betting strategies, and how casinos manipulated these to ensure they always had the upper hand. He saw how the house would subtly shift the odds in their favor and how even the most seasoned players could fall prey to these tactics. Johnson was learning, but he wasn't just learning how to play the game. He was learning how to beat it. His time in the industry wasn't just about understanding the mechanics of the game, but also about understanding the psychology of the players. He observed the highs and lows, the thrill of the win, and the despair of the loss. He saw how players could be swayed, manipulated, and ultimately how they could be beaten. This experience would later play a crucial role in his blackjack success. Armed with an intimate knowledge of casino operations, he knew exactly how to exploit the system. He knew when to bet, when to hold, and when to walk away. He understood the game from both sides of the table, as a player and as part of the operations. Don Johnson's rise through the ranks was not just about luck or chance. It was about strategy, understanding, and a keen eye for detail. It was about turning the tables on the house and playing the game on his own terms. With this newfound knowledge, Johnson was ready to take on the casinos at their own game. With a unique strategy in hand, Don Johnson took to the blackjack tables in Atlantic City in 2011 and took the house for everything they had. So, what was this unique strategy that turned Don Johnson into a multi-millionaire? Johnson had realized that the house edge in blackjack was not set in stone. He negotiated special rules to turn the house edge in his favor, such as the dealer standing on a soft 17, a 60% rebate on losses above $500,000, and the ability to split and double down on up to 4 hands. For 6 months, Johnson was on a winning streak unlike any other. He was not just a man playing a game anymore, he was an unstoppable force, a hurricane sweeping through the casinos of Atlantic City. The numbers were astounding. He won $5 million at the Borgata Casino, $4 million at the Caesars, and $6 million at the Tropicana. All in all, he beat the casinos for over $15 million. The reaction of the casinos? Well, they were shell-shocked. They had seen high rollers walk through their doors before, but none quite like Don Johnson. He wasn't cheating, he wasn't counting cards, he was just playing the game, but with a strategy so effective, it left the casinos scrambling to figure out how he had managed to beat them at their own game. But Johnson wasn't just a man with a strategy. He also had a bit of luck on his side. He knew when to hit, when to stand, when to double down, and when to walk away, and most importantly, he knew when to press his advantage. In the end, it was a combination of skill, strategy, and a bit of luck that turned Don Johnson into the $15 million man. He had shown that the house doesn't always have to win. Don Johnson had done the impossible. He had beaten the casinos without cheating, without card counting, just pure strategy and a bit of luck. Don Johnson's incredible blackjack success has left an indelible mark on the world of gambling. His audacious victories have stirred up the gambling community, inspiring both awe and analysis. Don's extraordinary success story has made an impact on the blackjack community like a comet crashing Earth. Countless players worldwide, both amateur and professional, have since attempted to decode the Johnson enigma. They've dissected his strategies, his betting styles, and his negotiation skills, attempting to replicate his success. Yet Johnson's unique blend of skills and charisma remains elusive, a testament to his one-of-a-kind talent. Following Johnson's triumph, casinos had to reevaluate their strategies. His ability to negotiate favorable rules and exploit the casino's perks had them scrambling to adjust their methods. Some casinos have since tightened their rules, limiting the amount of leverage a player can have. Others have started employing more sophisticated technology to monitor and track players' behavior, ensuring that they can catch any anomalies early on. In short, Johnson's victories have forced the casinos to up their game, making the gambling world a more challenging landscape. As for Don Johnson himself, he remains a revered figure in the gambling world. After his monumental wins, he stepped back from the blackjack tables but didn't disappear from the public eye. He's often invited to high-profile gambling events, his presence alone enough to draw crowds. His reputation as the man who beat the house has earned him a place in gambling folklore, and his insights into the game are sought after by many. Yet despite his fame and success, Johnson remains humble. He often reiterates that his wins were a combination of skill, negotiation, and a good dose of luck. A reminder to all that there are no guarantees in the world of gambling. Don Johnson, a name that will forever echo in the halls of blackjack history, proving that sometimes the house doesn't always win. His legacy serves as an inspiration to all those who dare to challenge the odds, a testament that with the right mix of skill, strategy, and a dash of audacity, one can indeed beat the house.